Welcome to the Rosa and Rhea podcast, where two sisters talk about sex, love, and relationships. Today we're going to talk about orgasms.
I still want to know, like, how hard is it for people to have orgasms during sex, like actual sex?
Penetrative sex.
Heterosexual.
Penetrative
That's
sex.
right. And then, like, even further than that, like, I don't have this issue, but have you ever had trouble having an orgasm by yourself?
No.
Right? Is that a thing? Like, does anyone, or do people just not masturbate when they can't, you know what I mean?
Well, like, I think that we get so curious about our bodies at such a young age, that we discover them so, innocently. Even if you're, born into a Catholic household that tells you masturbation is wrong and you're going to go blind or whatever, like, before that conversation or before you even hear that, like, you've, pressed your, body up against something and, felt a nice sensation before you could ever intellectualize it or understand what it is. So innately, just like the way we know how sand falling through our fingers feels, we innately know what makes us feel good, and sexually, because we've either, dealt with it or we've just been masturbating forever. Either way, I feel like everybody's been masturbating forever, whether or not they've been shamed out of it or told that it's wrong. Right?
Yeah, that was one thing lately, because I know we've talked a lot about this, and we even did a whole orgasms episode.
Yeah. This is Orgasms 2.0.
That's right. And one thing that really never, continues to surprise me even more today is that I know how I understand that everyone masturbates, that everyone does. Some people are asexual, so maybe some people don't. But it's still so taboo to talk about. I've had guys tell me, and they've been with their partners for 10 plus years, and they say they don't even know if their partner masturbates.
Right, because they do it in secret.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I used to get worried that my boyfriend would find out that I was masturbating because I didn't want to have sex with him, but I wanted to masturbate. So, I would have to do it in secret.
Yeah.
So it was there's been always a huge separation, I think, between you're doing it with yourself and doing it with your partner.
Yes, exactly. And also now when you're telling that story, I'm thinking there was a time when I was a lot younger and not as mature and in a long-term relationship, and I remember I used to hassle my boyfriend about watching too much porn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would nag him about it. And I don't really I don't know why I did that, and I don't think I would ever do that now, if that was someone's preference. But it's just so interesting how you can be in a serious partnership with someone, and people can still be so shy to talk about something that everyone does.
Totally. Or, you said something about talking about it's taboo. I talk about it with a lot of my girlfriends at work. We'll talk about masturbating, or we'll talk if we get horny or whatever. But one thing that is taboo, I think, is not masturbating. I am not horny. I have masturbated twice since October.
Yeah.
I have the lowest sex drive, and I think that's something that it's fun and it's exciting to be did you see my new vibrator? But it's not really fun and exciting to be I don't have a sex drive, I don't masturbate.
Yeah, and that's
right?
Yeah, and
because that's the other side of it.
And that's a great point, and I think actually what you said, a lot of women probably don't say, but I bet you a lot of men feel, because even more so for men, right? Because guys are always expected to be high sex drive, jerking off all the time. I've had guys say to me, I haven't even wanted to jerk off for the last year.
Totally.
And that's totally normal. It does happen.
Or they do it out of boredom.
But the reason I like to talk about, when we're talking about orgasms, talk about masturbation, is because if you can't have solo sex by yourself and have orgasms by yourself, it's going to be very tricky when you then incorporate another person.
Totally.
So that's why it's so important to do and talk about.
Yeah. Well, and like things ebb and flow. Like I feel like it was easier for me to have a orgasm with a partner like years ago when I was not jaded and I was just like easily fall in love and give my body and like open up. And now I feel like I am so much more careful with who I let in my life that I actually become like physically closed as well. And it like has a mental block. So even if I then end up with somebody who I like, I still might not be able to orgasm with them for a long time until I feel really, really comfortable with them.
Yeah.
So you got to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
Enjoy it when you can.
Yeah, but there's also certain things that you can do, I think. Like for me, I'm the same way. Like it's sometimes, especially I find if the more that I like the person for whatever reason, the trickier it is for me to have an orgasm right away.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that fucked up?
I feel the exact opposite.
Yeah, like if the person means like, not that I would have sex with someone that means nothing to me, but if I feel like,
Really?
like if I'm not interested in a relationship with the person, I find it a lot easier for whatever reason just to be like totally open.
Okay.
And I find like the guys that I do have crushes on, like sometimes it can take some time.
Yeah.
But I also like, because I have to have orgasms every day, have developed some techniques that really help me have orgasms with other people.
Oh, okay. Because you just learned so much.
Yeah, because like basically the way I operate is like, and this wasn't always the way, it's like I either have an orgasm or I don't. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I try and explain that to people, but we can discuss that more afterwards. But like one thing that's really helped me, and I think this might be a hang up for people, okay? Okay, we talk a lot about fantasies, right? How when you're in a relationship, you can build up these fantasies about people and it can be negative. But there's also a positive part of fantasies. And I think the positive part of them relates to like sexuality. So I think often people don't give themselves enough permission to just like fantasize about whatever. You know what I mean? And just understand that you might have an orgasm fantasizing about something crazy, but that doesn't A, necessarily mean you want to do it in real life, or B, that it has anything to do with your identity or who you are or whatever. It's just like that moment, whatever. And I would encourage people to really explore your fantasies. Like I don't watch a lot of porn myself. I would just have a vivid imagination.
Yeah, and you're not ashamed of it. I think that like some shame comes along, or like I've had guys say to me like, "Oh, well, if I'm fucking my girlfriend and I think about another girl, is that real true love? Is that like really
exactly?"
And then so that obviously that he's questioning whether it's okay to do it, and he has some shame involved in it.
Yes.
And you have to let go of that if you want to truly feel the full expression of the fantasy and orgasm.
Yeah, and you can start with yourself. Like first, like, and again, people have all different levels of shame. Like some people just have shame, period, just doing the act of masturbation. But try and get over that, and then try and let yourself fantasize about whatever you want. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then when you have a partner, it's okay to fantasize about other things other than the person in front of you. That is okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's what people need to understand there. You don't have to have guilt about it. It's something that everyone does, and it's an amazing thing to share with that person too. Like when you're experiencing that let go, it's really powerful. And if it helps you have an orgasm, especially with someone who you haven't like developed a full deep sexual attraction to, which is totally normal, fantasize about whatever you want.
See, I'm like, again, the opposite of you. So I find that it's like really exciting to have a new sexual partner. And I don't like need to use my imagination the first couple times. I'll like orgasm really easily, maybe, and then it'll be exciting. But then I'll start finding myself having to like fall back or rely on my fantasies.
Right.
And then it's like, it's just a matter of time, basically, before the person bores me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's just one way of looking at it. And I think that it's way better perspective, what you're saying, to just embrace all the things that your imagination brings to you, because it's boundless.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, you can literally fantasize about whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, it's not the beginning of a demise. It doesn't actually mean that, you're not attracted to the person or that things are getting boring or anything like that. I think it just is my way of thinking about it like that, how it's like the end is just like a negative or maybe a shameful thing where I'm not fully like allowing myself to embrace my imagination. And I think that a lot of people are in the same boat. Like, don't use your imagination as a last resort. Use it in a welcoming way so that you can come a million times.
Yeah, and plus it's like the beauty of fantasy in this way and the imagination is that you can do all this stuff that you can't do in real life.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
It's like virtual reality.
That's exactly it. So the more creative you can get, the better. And then another technique that I've used myself that's been super helpful for me personally. Again, this is like all my own experience. It might be completely different for you, but like I try when I'm trying to when I have a new sexual partner and I'm trying to have an orgasm with them, but maybe it's a bit tricky, I try and incorporate them into my masturbation fantasies.
Right. You were saying this last time.
And in whatever way they turn me on. So it doesn't always have to be the same way every time. It's just I think about that person. I think deeply about what about them turns me on, and then I incorporate. And it could be different for each person, right? The dynamics of my fantasy could be different depending on who it is. But then it's really helped me when I'm in real life with those people.
Yeah. So I think there's like a massive psychological factor to orgasms.
Yes.
That maybe people don't understand or they don't fully explore. Like for me in the past year, I've noticed when I really liked somebody, or when I was really enjoying them sexually and then I started liking them and I shut down that psychological part, that brain part of my head that said, you like this guy. As soon as I shut that down, I could no longer orgasm with him.
Yeah.
So there's a direct connection there that you can use to your advantage to really have multiple orgasms, to have really strong orgasms, to share more with your partner, to connect with multiple people, to explore fantasies, so many great things. But I think that we just at first have to acknowledge the fact that it's massively psychological.
This is a very important thing.
Well, because there's everybody is fine with talking about the fact that, married couples, their sex isn't as good, right? It drops off after a while. But what about when you're dating somebody and after like 3 months, the sex isn't that as good or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what that's like. But I think it can get boring really quickly, especially if you're a serial dater like us.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's new all the time. And then all of a sudden you're, just with one person. That could be exciting for a certain period of time. And then again, your brain's just like, well, this isn't as exciting.
Yeah, I think that's the tricky part of monogamy, right?
Yeah.
It really is. Like for me personally, and like maybe, I like the idea of monogamy. And again, I've been in monogamous relationships, but I just like having a variety of sexual partners.
Yeah.
Like I just like it. I prefer it.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the reasons is because you and I both value honesty so much, and in every monogamous relationship there's secrets,
secrets,
right?
Yeah.
None of them are perfect.
No,
and none of them, I'm not saying that every single one of them is doomed and horrendous, but there are secrets, there's big chasms, there's lack of communication, there's whatever, there's stuff that's not perfect, but you are always trying to pretend like you're perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's to other people or to each other, and it's like this strive for perfection. Yeah. Right? Because that's what monogamy is sold as in our society.
And some of these things that you speak about can really put a close sign on your orgasms. You know what I mean?
Totally.
As they wear on you, as your relationship progresses, you can perhaps it can become even harder. Maybe before it was easy for you to orgasm with this person, and then as you become tired or overworked or this or that, or you have a family, it becomes very tricky once again.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to have sex, never mind sex long enough to have an orgasm.
And then it's like, how do you say to your partner that you're not attracted to them anymore? I mean, there's so many different things that are tricky about that.
Yeah.
But I think, this is something that applies to actually a lot of things in life. Whenever you have an issue, I think it's, again, I'm preaching to people, like I have never been married, okay? I don't know what it's like to be with someone for 20 years, but when you're having trouble in some aspect of life, I think it's always good to go back to basics, right? Go back to square one. And I do this a lot. Like I had to do it with my camming recently, like you have to, if you're having issues, you have to be like, well, what did I do before? Let's start over. And so I think that maybe one thing that, again, we're preaching this right now, is that you might need to either spend some time having sex by yourself more.
Yeah,
if you're in a
that would
partnership.
be the ultimate basic thing, right?
Exactly.
Go back to the very beginning with just you and yourself discovering, oh, this feels good.
Yeah, and you know what? Another thing I've noticed is like over the years, your tastes change. Like my fantasies have definitely. That's the other fun part about fantasies is that I don't have the same fantasies now as I did when I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
So it's good to like reassess what turns you on by yourself. Then go with your partner. Masturbate with them. No penetration. Don't make it all about penetration. I know this is just like people say this all the fucking time, but it's so true. And
well, I think because men can orgasm in a lot of different ways as well, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be penetrative.
Yes. And the other thing
they can fucking rub up against your butt. They
Yeah.
can, right? Well, there's a million things. They can, you can give hand jobs. They can show you all the ways that they can come because
Yes.
they know the best themselves.
And also, and I've heard this feedback from a lot of men, okay, especially who are older and in long-term relationships, is sometimes when you progress in your relationship, one of the things that people miss the most is the sensuality, okay? And part of that sensuality isn't penetration, right?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
exactly what you're talking about. It's really going back to basics, making out, kissing, having your bodies touch in different ways without actually just like P and V all the time, because I think that's how you also make it exciting again. And people are really missing that, because it's easy to have that at the beginning of a relationship. We all know that, it's so exciting to have your bodies touch, but that doesn't mean you can't re-get that. But you have to practice it. And the other thing, especially for women, and I think women, I never did this. This is like the first year that I've done this, is like I'll say to guys like, I'm going to have an orgasm. I'm going to try my best, but it might take me a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to be in it. All right. So like, I think we've mentioned this before, like, I think a lot of girls have experienced this. You'll be fucking a guy and like 10 minutes into the fucking, he's like, come for me. And you're like,
yeah, and he's just like on top of you, just going to town.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like I can't for sure.
Yeah.
So I think you have to just accept that it might take 30 fucking minutes,
Well, and I think that we need to make something clear. Like, it feels good for me to have penetration.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But it will never make me come.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to relate this back to a guy. Like, most things in life you can be like, well, what would it be like if you felt this way or if this happened to you? But we are different anatomically.
Yeah.
We all are. Everything is so varied. So it's very hard for me to say to a guy like the opposite or to make them understand.
Yeah.
It feels good to be penetrated, but it's not going to make me come. And I've been thinking a lot about like whose responsibility is it, because we put a lot of shame on guys for not making us come. For me, I like nothing gets me out of the zone more when I'm not even close to coming. When I'm enjoying the penetration and I'm wet and we're fucking hard, all this stuff, and I'm nowhere near to coming because like he's nowhere near to that part of the country. And he says, "Come for me," and it just like makes me be like, "You have no idea what's going on with me."
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it makes me snap immediately out of everything, and I'm like, "You have no clue."
I know. And guys, yeah, that's the thing. And it's like, I love the porn star experience. Like, that's a big part of sex. To be clear, that's like, boom, boom, like really hard fucking. But that's not going to make me come either. But I still enjoy it. It's not just
really hard fucking.
No, it's not.
But you know what I
like,
mean.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I'm the same way. Like, it's not like I don't want him to not do that, but like, just understand that like, A, I'm probably not going to come like that, and B, it's going to make my pussy numb. So that's the other thing. It's like that's why we've said this before, but it's vital, or not vital, but it's if you can try and make the girl come first, because as you do that really hard fucking, it's going to become harder and harder in my experience to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had a guy like fuck me a little bit and then stop and then go down on me and then keep.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
Right?
I see. Yeah, that's good technique. That's great technique.
Right? Because I do that to guys.
Yeah,
if I'm on top, I'll stop.
Yeah.
I'll give them a BJ.
Yeah.
They go fucking nuts.
Yeah, you got to get that tempo going, that edging.
Totally. And it feels amazing. And I've had guys do that to me, and that feels amazing too. But I agree with you. Like, to have an orgasm before penetration, it makes it feel so much better. I mean, that's just the two of us. I don't know how everybody is.
Yeah, everyone's different, and everyone's bodies are different. Again, like, it really depends on how the two people's, like, I almost think that, like, it just is so variable depending on who you're actually having sex with because of the way that your dick and pussy is.
Right.
Like, everyone's so different.
There's so many combos. Well, that's what makes it exciting. So I want to talk a little bit more about like a guy's responsibility to make a girl come, and like what I was saying before about how it's hard to like talk about like the opposite, or because guys always come. And am I making the guy come?
Not always. 1%, 0.0. Sometimes they don't come.
Okay.
Yeah,
of course.
But they mostly
so
come.
I'm talking about from my experience. I've had sex with like 40 guys. They've all come. Okay?
Yeah.
Every fucking time. And like some of these guys I had sex with like 1,000 times. Okay? They all came. So yeah, and we always acknowledge that if you're out there and you're listening and you don't feel the same way, or this is not your experience, like you still matter and your experience still matters and it's still completely valid. But we talk mainly in generalizations based on our own experience. And in mine, the guy always comes, okay? Am I making him come? Like, I mean, the thousands of BJs I've given, I've definitely made him come. For sure.
Yeah.
But then it's like, what is his responsibility to make me come? And how much of it is my responsibility? So if I like to get fucked doggy style and have manual stimulation at the same time, do I tell him that and expect him to do it? Or do I just do it myself? I mean, if I do it myself, it's like, well, I could have just done that myself.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, the ultimate is when the guy takes the responsibility for my orgasm, because it feels like he's giving me all the time in the world. Oh, that was the other thing I want to talk about is you were saying it might take some time. When a guy says to you, no matter how long it takes, I'm going down there, that is a huge turn on. That gives you permission to fully experience your orgasm, to let yourself have it, to experience the pleasures that come before that and everything. So when it's just sprung on you, like, come for me, I don't really know where a guy is coming from when he fucking says that, because I need somebody who comes from a place of patience, determination, taking that responsibility for my orgasm on because they want me to come, not just like, okay, well, if you want to come, then you know how your body works. Go ahead and do it.
Well, you know... Yeah.
Right?
And the one, yeah, it's tricky. And the thing that I've noticed, like when it comes to guys, it's like everyone varies, and this is probably not even gender specific, but everyone varies to how much of a pleaser they are.
Yeah.
And some people like, and I'm a pleaser, and so I can speak from the pleaser side of things. Like, it helps when you're a pleaser because it turns you on to see people, to have people be pleasured, right?
Yeah. I take immense satisfaction for pleasuring somebody else.
And so when you encounter someone like that, and I've encountered other pleasers like that, it's incredible. You know what I mean? It's really, really super nice because it's genuine. Like they really want you to come because it turns them on.
Yeah, and then when I know that, it's way easier for me to come.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just feel like I've been exploring it so much because I've had all these different experiences with pleasers, with people who are not so much pleasers, and so it just makes me really go back to the, like, wondering, like, whose responsibility is it? And I also wonder, when a guy is saying, come for me, is he really saying, are you close to coming? How do I make you come? I'm kind of close, and you're like, or is he just, like, living out his own porn fantasy that he's seen? It could be, right? But it really makes me wonder, like, are you just afraid to communicate with me and say, like, oh, your pussy's wet, like, it feels like maybe you're, like, on the like, close to coming, like, things are changing down there. Is there anything I can do to help? Right?
Well, that's why communication is so important. And for me, I love specifics because it could be so many different things when people say certain things.
Yeah.
So it's so important to talk to your partner and really figure out what it is, because on top of all the things you just mentioned, it could also be like an actual turn on for them to have you come on command.
Yes, that's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But how the fuck are you going to know that unless they've told you, right? Yeah. And so really, because I've experienced that where guys have said that, like, I now have to have conversations with these people. Mm-hmm. And I have to be like, well, like, what do you mean by this?
Yeah. Excuse me, what do you mean by that?
And I also make sure to tell guys, like, all of the stuff. Like, I'm either not going to have an orgasm or I am.
Yeah.
Okay. B, it could take any amount of time. We have no idea. It could be 3 minutes. It could be 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And C, are you asking me to come on command?
Yeah. And what does that mean when you say that? Like, I've had guys who, like, in my late teens, I dated this one guy who, like, he would not stop until I came. It was such a turn on. He obviously had, like, a lot of what's the word? Like he was able to hold it in.
Okay. Like,
he had a lot of self-control when it came, right? Because he was able to just keep fucking me.
Right.
He learned all the positions I liked. He knew exactly how I liked it. He showed me how I liked it, obviously, because I was, like, still pretty young. I was, like, 18. I learned a lot from him just by the fact that he was so determined to make me come. And so I guess, like, he's still up there in, like, the best sex I've ever had because of that determination. So that's, like, bar is set pretty high in that regard.
Yeah, and you should another trick too is like
I've also had another guy who, when we were fucking, he said, "Okay, now make yourself come." Because we were both very, like, riled up, and I think he could tell that I was close, but because it was like, so he didn't know me that well, he wanted me to do it, which I think is very hot. Like, if I hadn't been able to, I'd be like, "Oh, I can't right now." But I think that's a really good way, instead of saying come for me or something when you're just in missionary on top or whatever, instead of saying come for me, saying, like, stopping and being like, I want to see you come, show me how you come, so I can make you come the next time. Right? That's a good alternative.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? You should be doing that. Like, if you have, I would probably do this if I actually had, like, a long-term partner. But if you do have a long-term partner, because everyone masturbates so differently, that's a great thing to do. Like when you're having sex, and show them, or even just talk, like you can even say verbally, like, what is it that makes you come the best when you're coming by yourself? And that way,
Totally.
Because like some people might like certain stimulations and some people might not, and some people might come from penetration and some people might not, and some people might need to get fucked in the ass to come. We don't know.
Totally.
There's so many different variables.
Yeah, but when somebody says that to me, like, let me see you come or make yourself come, again, that's the permission.
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, okay, well, it might take 20 minutes, but he asked and he wants this.
Yeah.
And then as you are doing that with him watching, you can then ask him to join in.
Yeah.
And I think that's like very hot. I think that's a really good way, an alternative way to just sit, asking a girl to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, I mean, yeah, even saying, are you close is kind of like, to me, a turnoff.
I listen.
Because,
I
like,
know,
no, man.
Yeah, I'm like,
are you touching it? Is your hand close to my clit? No.
I know.
Well, then, no, I'm not fucking close.
Yeah, I know.
And, like, I said this earlier, we put a lot of shame on guys for not making us come, but the shame is from not trying.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That is where I shame you. If a guy tries, again, I'm a pleaser. If a guy tries to, like, make me orgasm, he goes down on me, plus when we're fucking, he's, like, manually stimulating me, he's asking what turns me on. These are all major brownie points. It's okay if I don't come, just like it's okay if he doesn't come.
Yeah.
Okay? That's totally fine. Those are all, you don't get any points for just inserting your dick in me and then asking if I came. That's fucking so stupid.
I know.
Sorry.
I know.
Get real riled up about that. And one of the reasons, and we've talked about this before, is because a woman has such a great capacity to pleasure and to pleasure you. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
If you've made her come and then you are penetrating her and you're having intercourse, like P and V, whatever position your favorite one is, she can take you on a journey.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And, like some guys might... Like you might have to learn how to like certain things too. Like if you're not a natural pleaser, okay, so maybe you're listening to us right now.
Who the fuck isn't a natural pleaser? I'm sorry.
There are some people.
This shit, I'm getting riled up.
You know who isn't always a natural pleaser? And I don't want to. I'm not ageist, okay? I'm trying not to be. But listen, younger guys, even younger than 35 and younger, aren't always natural pleasers because they don't have the life experience. Sometimes I'm going to give them. Okay. So
I mean, I've heard both. I've heard both sides of it. Like I know a woman who's dating a younger guy, and all he does, like the first time they fucked, he went down on her, and he was like, "Did you come yet?" And she was like, "No, you'll know." And he was like, and he went right back down there, took a deep breath, and just kept going until his jaw was sore, and then she came really hard. Yeah, I mean, there's the rare like couple guys out there that are younger. Like I've experienced them for sure, but I think sometimes it's like that life experience that makes you into a pleaser. Not always, but on certain occasions. Okay, like you have to kind of like get that lesson taught to you. Yeah, like over different like you have to have girls like us who say, no, dude, this isn't whatever you thought you were doing for the last 20 years. That's not working. Okay, but anyways, I think to be a pleaser, you kind of like, for instance, here's an example. I didn't always think sucking dick was the best thing in the world. Right. Okay? I didn't always like it. But as I started to really be sensitive to other people's reactions and be more sensual and in tune with my partner and in the moment, I then was able to take pleasure from it because of the pleasure they were receiving. So if you're one of these guys who's like not really big on eating pussy, you're going to encounter some women in your life that's what they're going to want to come. Yeah. And so you're going to... But there's also lots of alternatives to eating pussy. Like this one guy I dated, we would just like go in like the kind of like the 69 position, and he would literally just use his fingers and like he liked to stare at my pussy. I don't know what he was doing back there. But he wouldn't eat me out.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
if
that's
he's
fine.
not comfortable.
That's fine.
He would always make me come.
Yeah.
And it was sometimes in that position. And that
Yeah.
was like very new and exciting.
No, that's a
right?
good point.
And I think once again, we're talking about compromise. I compromised.
Yeah.
And so did he, because I don't think he wanted to ever put in the effort, but he did. And so
it would be great if he could have gone a little further.
Yeah.
But I think that as you open up to new stuff, you might hear, like, it's like food. You might not like something one day, but if you try it cooked a different way, or you try it with a different mentality, you might learn to like it.
Yeah.
And then once you learn to like it, because you see the other person getting so much pleasure from it, it might take your sex up to the next level.
Yeah,
okay?
You never know what's around the corner.
But if you have a bad attitude about it, and you're like, well, I really hate this, and I'm gonna do it, but it's like I don't really enjoy it. It's not. No one's gonna really enjoy it. You know, it's the guys, and this is the theme. It's like the guys that really give you permission, the guys that allow you the space to be open and really they go down. They go for it. You know.
Yeah.
They're in it to win it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I love when a guy goes down on me for sure. But I think it takes even more skill to like fuck you and make you come, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't need to always have that. I was just one example, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, well, again, obviously everyone's different, but that's the biggest points for me is like when you're putting in the most effort.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be kind of boring, like if a guy's going down on you.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're just like laying there.
I know. But I mean, it is a good skill to have.
It's a very good skill to have.
And I don't think that like
it's a perfect way, because it would be almost impossible to fuck a girl and make her come if you haven't gone down on her yet, if you haven't made her come, if you haven't like gotten intimate with her pussy.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like for me, I love going down on a guy because then I understand like how he likes to come, if there's a big buildup, if he comes quickly, like how his dick feels when he's gonna come, like what the sounds he makes when he's gonna come, if he says anything, if he likes it faster or harder or whatever it may be. That's the kind of thing I'll get to know when I'm going down on him. So that's the kind of thing that is so vital to know with a girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's...
so you're advocating for the absolute right thing.
Yeah, because like it's not a necessity for me, but I know that there's a lot of women that really enjoy it, and it's also like very vulnerable position for a woman. So if a guy is brave enough to really do it with gusto, it makes I think it helps women feel a lot better.
Well, it's definitely a requirement for me, 100%. Yeah, like if a guy didn't want to go down on me, I would be very curious as to why.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? Like I just would, to me that would be a deal breaker, especially since like I am looking for somebody who I can have sex with more than one time.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to throw that in there. Yeah. Like Dan Savage always says that that should come standard with the car, right? Yeah. You should oral sex should come standard. If the guy won't go down on you, then you should dump him. If the girl won't suck your dick, then you should dump her.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's extreme circumstances notwithstanding, but like that comes standard because we want to throw that in there sometimes. We want to experiment. We want to have a good time. And then we want to do all the other fun stuff as well. But as far as orgasms go, like if you want to make a girl orgasm, that is the surest way.
Yeah.
Right? And you should try doing it before sex.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe even just do it and don't have sex.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, think about...
Imagine? Oh, my God.
Oh, I'm going to get riled up again. Think about all the times, like, I have given head to guys, and that was the whole story. I have never once just had a guy go down on me and then walk away.
Never.
Have you?
No.
Okay.
Never happened.
So it's like no wonder women want equality. We need what's
know.
right in the world. Like, why can't you go down on us and just give us a fucking BJ and walk away?
I know.
Okay?
I know. It's fucked up. It's really fucked up.
Like one time, and this is like really bad. And obviously I'm not with him anymore. But like one time I gave a guy head and I like looked over at him and I was like, I'm so horny now. And he was like, I'm not.
That's what I would have said if someone made me come.
And I was like, okay, my bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm foolish enough to just give you a fucking
And
blowjob.
don't give me this bullshit. You can rally, okay? Because I've rallied. I have had to come 3 times in a row for money before. And it's possible.
Rhea doesn't fake it.
I don't fake it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh,
and
should we talk about faking orgasms? Speaking
yeah.
of faking it?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
important.
Okay.
I almost don't even forgot that that's a thing because I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, but I've done it. I've done it. And the reason I've done it is because I have this like guilt. Like, oh, no, it's not guilt. It's I tend to feel pressure to orgasm. And if the guy isn't giving me like that permission, if he's constantly like, did you come yet? Did you come yet? Then sometimes I'll just be like, yep. If you think I came, then sure, buddy, I came. Like if you cared that little to not make an effort to make me come, but just to ask after you came if I came, then... So that was my mentality as far as like faking orgasms go. It's like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. Yeah. Right? This is completely fucked up and backwards. You should never fake an orgasm.
It's not a good lesson for anyone. It's bad.
No, and it's perpetuating a lot of bad things. Like guys then think that's how you come, and you're never gonna have the right kind of pleasure then. And this lie, you don't want to tell them because you don't want them to be ashamed.
So I think I have some advice for that actually.
Thank
you. Because I have this new way that I live where I don't have fake orgasms either by myself or in real with a person.
Yeah.
So if I come across a situation where I have sex with someone and I don't have an orgasm, after the sex, and I try in the most upbeat manner. Okay.
So do it exactly like you would do it.
I say, oh my God, I loved that experience that I just had with you. That was fucking amazing. But here's an example. This is like the last one that just happened. I love that experience that I just had with you. It was so amazing. I loved how you fucked me so hard.
Yeah.
But just so you know, sometimes when even though I love being fucked that hard, sometimes my pussy goes a little bit numb and I can't always have an orgasm after it. But it doesn't mean I don't like it. I wouldn't have changed that experience for the world, but that's why. So next time we do it, I have a great idea. Maybe I'll... This is what I said.
I have a great idea.
I was like, next time we do it, maybe I'll play with my vibrator first, or you can make me come before we do penetration.
Yeah.
And then we can have that experience and then do this really hard fucking that I love doing with you.
Yeah.
So that's one example. But that's the same thing for a guy who loses his boner or has trouble with an erection. Try and stay positive about it. Be as upbeat as you can. Be like, sometimes this happens, and it's not the end of the world. I'm going to go down on you. We can do this. We can do that. But just because I think people put too much pressure and it's not a big deal. Just be like, you know what? I didn't have an orgasm. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And then if they don't do the thing the next time, then don't have sex with them anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Right? I mean, you just try your best, right? And
no, but I mean, like, if you're saying this is what you've took up the courage, this is what it takes to make me come, I really hope you put the effort in. Yeah. And then they don't. Yeah. Then you just need to cut your losses at that point.
Of course.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're having sex for your pleasure too. And I think this is what some people don't understand about pleasers is that they will just like have sex for your pleasure, not for their own pleasure, for like years.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've done that.
Right?
Yeah, for years.
And it's because bad. It actually is quite satisfying. Yeah. But it is not sexually productive.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And it's like what you have to remind yourself, what the hell are you there for? And you have to really set boundaries because it's a waste of time. As satisfying as it feels, like sometimes those people don't deserve to have sex with you anymore if they're not going to make the effort.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I really like the way that you were so upbeat and made that example, because I really have a hard time bringing that kind of stuff up with anyone.
And also, you make sure to say, just so you know, this isn't just you, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because I think that's why we like to lie to our partners, because, oh my God, we don't want to make them feel like it's them that didn't make us come and make them feel bad.
Right.
Right? But I try and make it clear to people, like, this isn't you. This is just the way my body is. I've had this experience with other people, and I know that for the next time we need to do this if you want to see me come.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
I like it. I love how upbeat you are. And you just slid it in there.
Yeah, and you just have to be really open about it, and then it's not a big deal at all. And then just really focus on the positive stuff. Like, I love talking to people about what turns me on about them, being like, I love how we were making out, and really emphasize the good parts, you know, and not focus so much on, like, what didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, I think those kind of conversations are so important, and those are not being had. Those conversations are not being had.
No, they're not.
Maybe in Rhea's world.
In my world, it's like, my world's very different, though.
But I think that when I get the opportunity, I am having those conversations, whether or not it amounts to like having another sexual experience with the same person or not. It's just so important to practice it.
Yeah, you have to practice it. And I do this. I practice this I practice this online too. I'll say the same thing when I'm doing a private with someone. The same words as if I was in real life. I say, listen, it might take a little while. Okay? Right. I'm not going to come in like 3 minutes here. Yeah. It could take 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
because at the end of the day, you really have to give yourself the permission.
Yeah.
Okay? The people out there who are waiting for the guy to give them permission to enjoy themselves are never going to have their full extent of an orgasm.
Yeah.
Right? And then that goes back to what I was thinking before about whose responsibility, is it for the pleasure? I mean, I think it's both. I think it's all of these things that we've talked about. But at the end of the day, if you don't feel like you're giving yourself permission, if you're waiting for somebody else to be like, take your time, then you're not setting the stage for yourself. You're not setting yourself up for success to enjoy like a great orgasm and have a really good time.
The other thing I like having real orgasms online to show people is that why I'm so intent on it is that to show how like slightly anticlimactic it is.
Oh yeah.
Like it's actually not that dramatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People expect like literal fireworks. Okay.
Well, yeah, and I think that's why it does remain such a mystery for men sometimes, and I'm sure for women too, if they're getting into sleeping with other women and they haven't, been giving like had sex with women and they're, like suddenly they're like faced with this pussy they've never dealt with before and they're like, did you come? I don't know what's happened. Is this good?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And I get it. Yeah. Like I don't want to put shame on people, but you have to understand that some women don't come like on TV.
It's not like a big thing. It's like it could be you might not even know, like until she tells you or like whatever. So you have to be very in tune with her and give her, and I think sometimes, again, like I remember when I was very young, I kind of bought into that like whole porno thing where it's like, oh, coming is this big, huge thing.
Yeah.
And it isn't always. And of course, the great thing about being a woman is you can come like 5 times.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it's not so big and crazy that one time.
Right.
Because there could be 4 more.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like for me, even when I'm alone, it is slightly dramatic. Like
okay, so maybe it's just me.
Well, you've been having a lot of orgasms, Rhea.
I know. It's like crazy, actually.
Yeah. So like this last little while, notwithstanding with like my low sex drive, like if I masturbate, like I'm worried that my neighbors are going to hear.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, and it's not for anyone else. This isn't because like I think that like porn is the only way of being. I'm not buying into anything. I'm just like really being myself. So I think that that's another thing, like for women, go back to, yourself, go back to basics, have an orgasm with yourself and really be aware, even film it maybe.
Yeah,
right?
I think
and
that's
then
really
don't
good.
indulge it or overdo it when you're with a partner. And then also the next step is always showing that partner how you come. So you can either send that video to them if you feel comfortable or do it in front of them, but don't go crazy. If you don't make noise by yourself, don't make any noise.
That's right. Do it exactly how you would do it.
The exact way.
Like, no different.
Because that is how you will have the best orgasms, okay? That is like you being your exact self.
Yeah, totally. And, you know, filming, like, I didn't even really... It was a blessing that all these fuckboys got me to send them videos of me masturbating.
Oh, I'm so glad we've gotten to this point.
Yeah, I know.
Rhea feels grateful for all of you fuckboys out there.
It's a full circle. Because it wasn't until I started making those videos for those fuckboys that I realized how my body is totally normal. And that I didn't even really like looking at, like, not that I didn't really like it, but I just didn't really, like, appreciate my pussy. I didn't appreciate my body. And then when I saw how nice it was, how the videos were.
Well, your body is nice too, listener. Your body is very normal
exactly.
too. Okay? That's the point.
The point is
yes. It builds your own appreciation for your own body, for your own capacity for pleasure when you see yourself orgasm.
Yeah, this could be for anybody. It's so important just to appreciate your own self, how different you are. No two people are going to be the same. No two dicks are going to be the same. It's just it's amazing.
Yeah, and actually, if you feel a bit self-conscious about coming with a partner, about your orgasms, if you like doing it with the lights off and he's asking to turn the lights on, it might be a good tip to go and film yourself just to check and see how you look.
Yeah,
okay? Yeah. And don't adjust anything. Definitely, we're saying be yourself, but just check and see like what he's gonna see if he looks at your face when you come. What's your coming face? What sounds do you make? What is your body like? Just have a little looky-loo.
Do it.
Because you might be like Rhea and you might just be like, wow, I'm amazing.
Right.
I should go on the internet and show the world my body. Right? You might be so inspired.
Oh my God, you guys, it could change your life. It could change your life.
Yeah, and it's also very hot, even just to keep it for yourself. I find it to be very hot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I often get turned on by my own porn.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. And then you're like, who can I send this to? This is the Mona Lisa. Right? And then you're like, oh, fuck. You didn't answer.
Oh, my God.
I know you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but I think those are all really good tips for orgasms. You know, do it by yourself. Show somebody, and then do it with somebody for real. Never fake it, because it's like taking poison and expecting the other person to get hurt.
And don't blame. There's no blame. Just be like, it just didn't happen. That happens a lot.
Okay. Well, I think there is blame. Like, you've heard me get very riled up during this episode.
But sometimes people feel pressured when they... I know
It's really fucking annoying when a guy doesn't try and make you come.
Yeah.
Okay?
And then
he asks you if you fucking came.
Yeah.
That really pushes my buttons, okay? Yeah. So to speak.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that, to me, that there is blame, because I am such a pleaser, and I'm gonna go with this guy until he comes, okay? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Even if I get tired, my fucking butt's sore, and bouncing around on top of him, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm sweating. Tired. I'm just like, no, like, I am gonna do this.
I've said that to a guy, though, now that I've been like, are you gonna come yet?
Well, I mean, I've rolled over and been like, I need a break, or your turn to go on top.
Oh, you can say that's a good point. You can say that, you guys. You know that, right? Like, just for our listeners, you can say that you need a break. I didn't really think you know that, but you can.
Oh, yeah, you can say that. But I'm just saying, like, if you're putting all this effort, I'm putting all this effort to make a guy come the way he likes it, And, you know, going that extra mile of pushing myself, like I am sweating. Maybe I'm 3 minutes. I got to get in the shower, get late for work, but I'm good. Like I'm committed to making him come.
Yeah.
Why
can't he do the same?
Why can't he be doing the same?
That's so crazy.
And then he's like, okay, bye. And then he leaves and I'm like, cool. Well, I got to masturbate now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there is this edge to the this topic, and there is blame. There's a psychological aspect, and there's a part of it that makes all of us kind of get like angry, because why the hell isn't it the same? Like it should at the very least be 1-to-1. As far as the ratio of when a guy comes and when a girl comes, especially because of women can come way more times. Like I could come 5 times to a man's 1 time.
Yeah,
I could. I have the capacity to do it.
I know.
Okay? And there are more times than not I didn't come when I fucked a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, my God. If we actually did the math, oh, my God.
Yeah.
The thousands of times we've had sex. Like, I don't even want it.
Or the BJs I've given.
Oh.
It's scary. And this does not discount the people who have given me immense pleasure. So, guys, like, I'm not discounting you. If you're listening out there, you went down on me till your jaw was sore. Like, God bless you. Okay? I'm not discounting any of that. It's just like the people who aren't. It's just very confusing to me, and it makes me mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me. So try harder.
Yeah, and you can get better. Anyone can learn how to do it. You can
Totally. And if you're with a girl and you don't really like pleasing her, then you should stop dating her.
Yeah, exactly. Very good point.
Right?
Very, very good point.
I think this year for me has been like the year of breaking up with people because I know they're not right for me.
Yeah.
Whether it's been like 1 date, 2 dates, 5 dates, 5 months, like I've ended things with so many people, and yeah, it sucks, and you kind of feel like you're letting someone down or hurting them, or there's a whole gamut of emotions that comes along with it, but I think a lot of guys are afraid to break up with people.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. And like people will stay together for 20 years.
Or even they'll like go on like 10 dates with a girl.
Yeah.
And the girl's like literally picking out China for their wedding, and the guy's like, I don't really like her. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Stop. Just stop it, okay?
Yeah.
If you don't like pleasuring her, if you don't like seeing her, if you don't like texting her, you don't like being around her, you're not excited about her, then stop dating her.
Or even worse, if she doesn't like pleasuring you and you're still dating her.
Yeah, you should break up with her. Yeah, I think that people don't break up enough. Honestly, like a lot of people give condolences when when a relationship ends, and I give high fives.
Yeah, they should give a congratulations.
I honestly am
That's
like,
a good
wow,
point.
good for you, because people don't just like break up out of nowhere. You know, like you obviously wanted to do this. It's something hard that you wanted to do that you did.
Yeah, it takes courage.
It takes courage, and that's so commendable.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but if you want to break up with someone, if you don't like somebody, you should definitely do it.
I agree.
I mean, that's a whole nother episode. Thanks so much for listening to Orgasms again. We would love for you to follow us on all of our social media at Rosa and Rhea, at Rhea BS, and at Rosa Borkowitz. We also have a YouTube channel. Please go and subscribe, like, and comment, and let us know on rosaandrhea.com what you want us to answer in our next episode.
Welcome to the Rhea.
See how hard it is? I'm glad you know.
I'm going to do this. So we're switching it up today after intro. Welcome to the Rosa and Rhea podcast.
We should do that. I'm Rosa. We don't do that anymore.
Let's do that. Welcome to the Rosa and Rhea podcast. I'm Rhea.
And I'm Rosa. Did you forget who you were?
You should do it again. We're going one more time. I'm going to put this whole bit of...
Put it at the end.
Well, welcome to the Rosa and Rhea podcast, where two sisters talk about sex, love, and relationships.
I'm Rosa.
And I'm Rhea. And today we're going to talk about orgasms.
Yeah, we have more to say about orgasms. It's orgasms again. God bless.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you for listening to our second show. What did I say? Thank you for listening.
Thanks so much for listening.
Oh,
you want me to say more?